Hi everyone. Today I wanted to do a video showing you my area of the craft room in my house. I share it with my mum. She has the area which is over there, but I'm not going to show you that because she hasn't finished organising it and I don't think she'd want you to see it until it's finished. This room is my old bedroom. I used to have my desk has tended to be over here all the time, and then my bed was over there and a futon was over there as a sofa, and now we've got a spare bed over there instead, and then the wardrobe is behind me and storage behind that, so that hasn't changed. And we're really fortunate in this room to have an ensuite bathroom, so we've got a sink in here which is really useful, especially for cleaning up paint and fountain pen ink and that kind of thing. I wash my fountain pens out in there. So it's the Eve's attic bedroom. As it was my old bedroom, I'm very familiar with the limited functionality of a room like this. It's got a large floor plan, but it has limited usable walls because the walls go up to maybe 2.5, 3 feet. I'm not quite sure, I haven't measured, but there's limited height that you can then fit furniture. So this wall here is useful wall. You've then got a couple of other walls in the room, but me and my mum have basically a mirrored area, so that's really useful when we've got basically the same amount of space, so that's really good for us. But we can't put much tall furniture in here, so we use the space as well as we can. I now live in the old spare bedroom, which for me is much better because the stuff that was making my bedroom messy was all of my craft stuff, and now that it's here in its own designated area, my own bedroom is a lot tidier and more manageable. And this area then, because I don't come up here all the time and I'm not dumping stuff on the desk all the time, is a lot easier to manage as well. So let's go and have a look. I'll tell you about the furniture as we go along. This is a rainbow tower unit. I think it's 11 drawers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, 11 drawers. I got it for maybe £40. They sell it for more in Hobbycraft. I got it from the range when I worked there. I've got some stuff on top that I don't know what to do with. So it contains a lot of my commonly used craft stuff. In the top drawer I've got punches and funky scissors, and I've got die cutting and embossing stuff, ink pads, inking accessories, heat embossing, adhesives, tools like scissors, knives, that kind of thing. If I had children I would obviously not keep it there, but I don't, so that it can stay down in that green drawer. Cleaning materials, and then some paper. And the bottom drawer I don't have anything in because the weight of the drawers above it tends to make it not easily openable, so I don't tend to keep anything in that one. And you will see in this area of the craft room that no space is spared. Oh, there's Ruby. Say hi to Ruby. Sorry about the floor. The Hoover, when we're hoovering the stairs, doesn't actually reach up here, so it's messy. But you know, we've got 4 black animals, 2 black dogs, 2 black cats, so I don't really care anymore about the state of the carpet. The cats have got a mission to destroy the carpet anyway. Hi Rubes. They like shredding it, so I've lost the will to care about the carpet. Sorry if that bothers you. Yes, so every square inch is used. So behind the rainbow tower unit I have got a cutting pad and sort of messy wipeable work surface. And then up here I've got this drawer unit from IKEA, which is now empty because I've moved all of my inks my fountain pen inks into this lovely drawer unit, which I've done a video on. And then we have got focus, where I used to store my fountain pens, inside this brilliant test tube holder that I'm not using, and I've left it out because I'm not quite sure what to do with it at the moment. A pretty little jam jar which I used to store ink cartridges in, but I don't know what to do with that. And then that's apparently a toothbrush holder, that metal thing, but it's really good for holding fountain pens. And then that cup there and that towel there are for using when I clean my fountain pens. And then I've made my desk out of Kallax units. There's Rosie. That's one of her toys on the floor, that piece of paper there. It's ever so fun to find scraps in a craft room and kill them, says Rosie. So the Kallax units are accessible from both sides, so it's quite useful to be able to grab some of the smaller things that are on this side. So I tried to leave this area open, but obviously you've got the tower unit blocking access to these two and the drawers blocking access to that bottom one there, but then I've made sure that those are ones that I only need to access from the other side. So this is one of the other things to think about, is access in a room. Not only using every square inch of space, but making sure you can actually access it. Let's come round. So I'm just going to make sure I don't hit my head on the beam. That is really low. This is what my desk looks like. Let's start from the top. So I think I used to have my clock hanging on the hook or the screw that's there. So I've just hung a nice bauble on it, but I keep it up there all year long. It's not, baubles aren't just for Christmas. Then I've got this unit here is actually an upside down teapot stand. So I don't know if you know them from, what is it, the 80s? I know them from the 90s. Teapot stands. Basically, imagine this turned upside down. You've got shelves for teapots. Well, at least ours was for teapots. I don't know what else you could store on them. Knickknacks, that kind of thing. Ours was in the kitchen or the dining room at different times. So that's what they were for in our house. My mum and dad bought this one and I said, can I have it? And they said, yes, but it's stained in a nice dark red stain. What do you want to do with it? So we painted it a nice neutral cream and turned it upside down, because the problem with it being the right way up, which is this is the bottom and that is the top, is that this shelf here, which isn't really a shelf, is really narrow. It's maybe 2 inches deep, and so it doesn't support its own weight if you were to put it on top of like a desk like here. So I because it's normally screwed to a wall, I thought, well, just flip it upside down so that you've got the biggest shelf, which is actually the top, on the bottom, and then you can still use the shelves as they were before. And it doesn't matter that the drawers are on the top then. Just turn them upside down and then they're the correct way up for when you're using it. And my mum's copied me in that. She's got the old teapot stand that we had on the wall from when I was a baby on her desk now. And it's got all my knickknacks, pretty things. And then the bottom shelf has got notebooks. I'll show you that a bit closer in a minute because I've got a lot of notebooks. And then the desk itself, ignoring the Raskog IKEA trolleys from it, the desk itself is made from 3 Kallax units, 3 4x4 white Kallax units. They're really lightweight, they're really useful. They have a lot of accessories that you can buy, like doors, drawers, shelves, hammocks, that kind of thing. I'm just going to shut the door because my brother's talking and he's quite loud. So they're really easy to build, and you can kind of customize them to your needs. You can have massive ones that are 5 by 5, so 25 cubby holes. Each cubby hole, I call it a cubby hole, each of the square shelves within it are 33 centimeters square. So that's really big space, and then 25 of them would be huge. I quite fancy getting a 4 by 4, but I can't fit it in this room because the walls are limited in how tall I can get furniture. So I've got basically almost the same amount of storage. Well, it's got 12 cubby holes versus 16 in a 4 by 4 for almost the same floor space as my old desk. So, hi Rosie. I bought those 3 Kallax units, and then I bought these little legs, and I put my old desktop on the legs. And this is an IKEA desktop, but the legs are from IKEA as well. But this is an old one. We got it in 2002, I think, or early 2003 from IKEA in Toulouse in France, where we lived at the time. And it's a lot sturdier than the current IKEA desktops, which is why I use this one instead of the modern ones. And you might be able to see ink stains and glitter glue and all sorts of marks and stuff, and I don't care because it's sturdy and it works and it's lightweight. I can move it if I need to, because I haven't screwed the legs on, because then it's movable and you can dismantle it to move it, clean underneath, that kind of thing. And then I bought this shelf tray thing from the wardrobe. It's kind of a design your own wardrobe thing. I can't remember what it's called. You can see it on the IKEA website. Basically, you can buy the different components for the wardrobe that you want and put it together customized for your own needs. But this is basically a long tray shelf thing, which then sits on top of the 2 Kallax units and can slide out, and is where I dump so much stuff that I don't want to have to deal with, because otherwise it will end up on the top of my desk and I wouldn't be able to do any work. And I've got a cutting mat, so it's not actually a proper cutting mat, it's a chopping board, a worktop saver or whatever they call it, with some pretty paper underneath, so that I can work on this and wipe it clean rather than working on my desk and creating more stains and not being able to wipe that clean. And I've got a bar stool underneath, and this is a standing desk. It's the right height for me. I measured it. Basically, you've got to stand with your arms at 90 degrees to the floor, and so at the bend of your elbow, and then measure the distance to the floor. Mine is about 100 centimeters. So as long as my desk is about that height, which it is approximately, so you can lay your arm on it comfortably without having to raise or lower your shoulder, then it's a comfortable standing desk height for you. And then you would hopefully not have to compensate for the height adjustment, because you've measured it and made it perfect for you. I spent a very long time making sure that this desk would be the right height for me. And because I have upper back muscle problems in that I sit at a desk all day at work, standing at a desk really helps. So I've got a standing desk, but when I do need to sit, I've got a bar stool. And then I've got these 3 Raskogs or Raskog like trolleys. Let me move over here. So this one is an actual IKEA Raskog. The one underneath is a Hobbycraft one, and this one is a Dunelm Mill one. And the best one out of the bunch, if you're interested, is the Raskog from IKEA. The least good one, the worst one, is the Hobbycraft one, because the metal bit where the wheel goes in started to snap, and so the Raskog was tilting, or Raskog, you know, the trolley was tilting because it couldn't house the wheel in properly, and the wheel was at an angle and it was lopsided, so I had to take all the wheels out. So now I can't wheel it. So it sits on this piece of cardboard underneath the desk, so I can sort of pull it out if I need to. But in my opinion, if you're not going to get a Raskog, which have been decreased in size, the actual IKEA one, then I would recommend, if you are in the UK, to get a Dunelm one. It's almost as sturdy as the IKEA one, relatively cheap, and I've not had problems with the wheels, although that is just one trolley. I've not obviously tested all of them, so it's just my experience with that one trolley. But this one is for my stationery, because I don't have any stationery drawers in my Kallax. I keep looking at the accessories that you can use to customize the Kallax to your needs, but when I'm standing at my desk, it's going to be more awkward for me to go under my desk to find stuff than it is for me to go next to my desk to find stuff. So this is where my stationery lives, or the stuff that I actually use for the crafting that I do. This one is for my leather craft, and I'll talk about that another time, maybe. I don't know. I want to do a more in-depth video about leathercraft when I'm ready to, but it might not be soon because I'm not really doing it at the moment. And then this is for current projects. I guess I've got one too many Raskogs, or one too many trolleys. I call them all Raskogs. I know they're not all from IKEA. I don't need them all, so I guess I've got one too many, so I'm having to find purposes for them. And that one under the desk, because it doesn't need to move much, is for my current project. So it's basically to keep stuff off my desk. I'm not going to show you the Kallax units under my desk. They're not as interesting as I'd like them to be. Basically, I've got some work there for a project I'm doing, and then that's scrapbooking paper and some envelopes and some storage under there, and then some miscellaneous stuff that I haven't, it's basically holding stuff that I haven't finished sorting yet. So that's not exciting. I won't show you it. And so I haven't yet made the most of using the tops of the actual Kallaxes, but they are usable storage space because these legs don't take up much room. So besides the tray sitting on top of them, there is quite a lot of space on here. And I did have some more stuff sitting on here, but I've tidied it away. I've got my extension cable for my electrics. My lamp sits in there, and I would plug other things in there that I need. But I don't use a lot of electrical stuff up here. I don't have an electric die cutter, for example. I'd use it for my heat gun and that kind of thing. I've got some magazines that I need to cut out for collages. And then, as I was saying, you use every square inch of space. So down here I have got a bag with some tool things in, mainly what they called Tim Holtz Ranger craft mats, are they called? Those kind of tan coloured, you put them on top of your desk, and then you can do distress ink with the foam sponges onto your work, and it's like a palette, but it's a big roll of tan coloured plastic film, which you then clean and put away, and so that lives down there. And I don't think there's anything else in there, but one, let me get it out and I'll show you. Oh, I'm not going to be able to reach. I'll show you it in a video in future when I'm actually using it. But this craft mat, or whatever it's called, from Ranger, you can use oven liners basically for the same thing. Oven liners being the black roll of plastic film stuff that you put in the bottom of your oven to catch the drips of food that might come down. So for example, if your pizza drips, or if you're making cookies, for example, you can easily clean it up because it doesn't stick to the bottom of your oven. It's the only difference is the colour, and sometimes you might want to be able to see the colour of your ink that you're using, so therefore you might not want a black one, but they do the same job and they're a lot cheaper. Here's a bookcase, and it's not very interesting, so I'll quickly talk to you about it. It's useful because it does fit in the space, and it still gives me a bit of height on the top underneath the eaves in which to fit some tall books. I've got they are, I think, in that box there, some distress stains, some glitter glue, that kind of thing. And then I've got my bendy lamp on top with a clip. It's really useful. Actually, that's got to move downstairs, but I use it for stenciling because you can clip it to the clipboard, the clear clipboard that I use to be able to not stencil, trace. I used to trace. So you clip the clippy lamp so that it's pointing underneath the clear clipboard, and then it shines the light through the tracing, the page that you want to trace, and then you can trace through it without having to hold it up to a window. Some art books, and there's the papers that I trace from a colouring book, and then maybe that's got the Midori notebooks in it, actually, the standard size, and then that's got all the glitter glues and distress stains. There's some paints and some arty stuff, and then this is all notebooks. Hi, I'm back. I just had to tell Rosie off for trying to destroy the carpet. Sorry. So as I was saying, I have a lot of notebooks. It may not look too much of a problem at the moment, but I sorted through my notebooks the other day, and I have a lot of loose Filofax paper and paper for bookbinding as well. It's a lot when you actually have them all out. So this is the loose paper for Filofaxes. This is all notebooks, and that big one down there is notebooks. And then also I have a lot of notebooks here. And there's my mini die cutter. It's so cute. So, yeah, I think the vast majority of the stuff I have in my craft room, I don't use all the time. A lot of it's for storage, but I try to make it as well designed as possible. And I don't need to have my notebooks out. I was debating whether or not to put them in this locker, but then it's neither here nor there, to be honest, because the locker is very useful for storing the things that are inside it, and would they actually fit on the shelves, and would I need to access them more or have better access than the locker can provide with just, opening the door? I don't know. This room is a work in progress, so I might change it up at some point, but at the moment this is as things are. The top of my red locker, which comes from IKEA, has this sewing box in the middle which has some stamps in, well, most of my stamps. Then I've got this old typewriter on the right, which I occasionally use, but I'm not very good at it, and it's incredibly loud and requires quite a lot of pressure, and so it thumps quite a lot. And if you're doing it on a desk or on a floor without any cushioning, it's quite loud for the other people living in the house, so I don't do it a lot. And there are some of my A5 Filofaxes. I've got one more that I need to bring up, and then I've got a couple downstairs that live in my room. And then this is my red locker. It's from IKEA. It's about 17 years old, and it's got nail varnish stains and bleaching from having sat in a lot of daylight and stuff like that, but it still works perfectly, even though the keys are missing. So I strung some string or wool through the air vents here, and I use that that to open the doors. So Rosie's probably going to try to get inside. It's messy. I've just realised that it doesn't look very neat. I think I just shoved that stuff there in. It's got my die cutter, my Big Shot, some cereal packet cardboard, it's useful, some pretty but large papers there that I can't fit into my Kallax, and then some that's my ATG gun, which is a tape dispenser, and then I've got my travel iron and my sticker maker in there. Ruby is currently destroying my mother's chair. Ruby, stop it. Good girl. They've got their own chair that I let them destroy. They've had that since they were a kitten, and they know that they're allowed to tear that one to pieces, but they like scratching my mum's chair as well. And then let's go over to the other side. So this is kind of bigger things that I can't fit into my Kallax. I've got my heavy duty long arm stapler at the back, which you can't see because it's in a box. Then I've got my arc hole punch and my paper trimmer. I've got some space for some more stuff. I got rid of one paper trimmer that I didn't need from in there. And then here's all my paper for bookbinding. I've got some coloured paper and some plain white paper, and then I've got some A5 card. Then underneath, this isn't the way it will stay probably, because I used to have a lot more stuff under here, and it's a really useful space for these sorts of medium-sized boxes. I've got this white basket which is full of electricals. I tend to be the person in the house who looks after technological stuff like cables, knowing what things do, giving people stuff when they've lost their own, giving people my mobile phone because their mobile phone's not working, and then having to go out and buy another one because I've given somebody my mobile phone. But yeah, I tend to be the technology queen. Ruby's trying to get in the cupboard. Let's see if she can do it. This is why I have to keep a constant eye on my babies, because they get stuck in cupboards. We were going to my brother's graduation ceremony. We were going to be out for a few hours, and Rosie got caught in a wardrobe, and she would have been there for a very long time, like several hours, if I hadn't gone back to get something out of the wardrobe that Rosie's going to try and get in now, and found that she was in there. So yeah, this is why I constantly have to go around the house checking up on them. I've got some card at the bottom there, and then at the back, nothing there. I've got my sewing box and some tissue paper in a box, and then something else that I can't see. I think that's got some cards I made for a charity. It's not focusing. There we go. And then down here, see, every last inch of space is my knee cushion because my knees hurt when I kneel on hard surfaces, and space for a lap tray, which is currently downstairs. Then, did I tell you this is my UFOs box down here, that yellow lidded box? It's basically unfinished objects. So projects that I'm probably never going to get back to. Here is an old handbag which has got folders in. And down the side there are laptop cases, netbook cases, which I use as A5 Filofax bags, and that kind of thing. I don't think there's really anything else I need to show you. As I was saying earlier, you've got to think about accessibility, and obviously with the Hobbycraft trolley there, I can't get access to these cubby holes, but I can from this side, so that's great. I've got 2 empty cubby holes there, which I haven't got anything for at the moment. That blue one on the left has got scrap leather in it with a couple of folders on top, and that I need to sort out. It's got all sorts of random things in it. And I don't think there's really anything else that I need to show you. I think I will be kind of showing you things as I use them when I eventually do some crafty videos, but not this side of Christmas, because it's now almost the end of November, and I don't have any ideas of what to show you. Maybe I'll show you making some Christmas cards, but then it'll probably be too late because I tend not to be able to do things to a deadline. There's my leathercraft stuff, and one day I might show you that. Yeah, so there you go. Hope you enjoyed that. It wasn't as professional as a lot of the beautiful tour videos that I've seen on YouTube, but I am not a professional person. I am messy, I am eclectic, I shout at my cats in the middle of a video, I don't care about my fluffy carpet, and I'm real, so you know, you get what you see. And to be honest, me showing you this desk the way it is at the moment isn't real. It never looks like this. The reason I've done this video is because it looks a reasonable condition at the moment. This room is going to deteriorate as I use it in the next few months. So next time you see this desk when I'm doing a video, it will not be tidy like this. So I just thought I'd show you it while it looks reasonable, and let's just ignore the pile of rubbish I have under here. So it just shows you that the people who do beautiful videos and wonderful Instagramming probably also have an area that looks like that. Right, thanks for watching. Bye.